The elements and principles of art. The elements of art are line, shape, forms, space, color, texture, and value. Line. A line can be found anywhere and basically everywhere we look. It can be drawn with pen, pencil, brush, marker, etc. Line is mostly defined as a moving dot. Lines can vary. Some can be as thick as a tree trunk and as thin as a piece of hair. Some examples could be dashed, wavy, swirly, and many more. Lines can also be horizontal, vertical, diagonal, and straight. Lines can also be described as continuous marks made on a surface by a moving point. Shape. Shape is a closed line. Shape is flat and usually viewed as two-dimensional. Shapes are created when a line is closed. Shape is seen here by the various objects and prints. In the painting, the artist shows several different geometric shapes colliding in the center of the work. Form. Form is a figure or shape. It is a three-dimensional geometrical figure and encloses volume. Includes height, width, and depth. It may also be free-flowing. Form can also be described as either geometric or organic. Geometric forms are typically man-made. Organic forms are often associated with natural forms. It implies space and cannot exist without space. Space. Space refers to the distances or areas around, between, and within things. It includes the background, foreground, and middle ground. It has two kinds of space, negative space and positive space. Color. Color is found everywhere. It has three main characteristics, and they are hue, value, and intensity. The color wheel is a great example of many of the different colors that exist. Two colors can be described as warm or cool colors, depending on what part of the color wheel they are in. Hue. Hue is sometimes called chroma. It describes a particular color, specifically in the color wheel. For example, this picture really pops out to what color it is. The second characteristic of color is value. Value is the darkness and lightness of a color. Color value can create different moods. Like with dark colors, it has a lack of light and can be able to express mystery. Light colors often reflect more vivid and bright pieces of art. Intensity is the third and final characteristic of color. Intensity is basically saturation, which means whether the art is dull or bright. Dull colors are diluted by mixing with other colors on the opposite side of the color wheel to create more calm or a serious mood. The bright colors are undiluted, so it is basically the opposite of dual colors. Texture. Texture is the surface quality that can be seen or felt. Some examples of texture that appear to the viewer are rough, smooth, soft, hard, and glossy. The three different varieties of texture are actual, implied, and invented. Actual texture is the literal tactile feeling of the piece. For example, the photo of Sam's hair. Implied texture is something that may be photographed or implied. For example, if it was a drawing of Sam's hair. Invented texture may be a texture such as one in a rug. Value. Value refers to the lightness and darkness. White is the lightest value and black is the darkest value. The value that is in between is called middle gray. Broken values are what cause us to see texture in a drawing, painting, or print. Generally, lighter values appear to be closer to the viewer and darker values tend to be further away. Value is key to the illusion of light. A value scale is a guide to creating a range of value. Good pieces of art have a full range of value. Now all these elements come together into one piece. Every element is apparent. Line is visible on the couch and in the scarf. Shape is visible on the couches. Form is apparent in the curtains and windows by the background. Space is visible in the middle ground between the couches. Color is incorporated throughout the piece and sets the mood of the image. Texture is in the dog's and girl's hair and the cushions of the couch. Value is throughout the piece and especially used between the shading of the couches and the floor. Now we move on to the principles of art. These are balance, emphasis, movement, pattern and repetition, rhythm, variety, unity, and contrast. Balance. Balance refers to the ways in which the elements, lines, shapes, colors, and textures of a piece are arranged. Balance can be symmetrical balance, where elements are given equal weight from an imaginary line in the middle of a piece. Asymmetrical balance occurs when the elements are placed unevenly in a piece of work, but work together to produce harmony overall. Radial balance is another type of symmetrical balance, in which opposing forces rotate around, radiate from, or converge from a central point. Emphasis. Emphasis is defined as an area or object within the artwork that draws attention and becomes a focal point. This area is more important when compared to the other objects or elements in a composition. This can be by contrast of values, more colors, and placement in the format. Movement. Movement is the path the viewer's eye may take when observing a piece and possibly lead them to a focal point. Movement is a suggestion of motion through the various uses of the principles of art. The use of light and dark areas can move your eye throughout the piece. Directional movement can also be created by a pattern. Pattern and repetition. Pattern refers to the repetition of a design. Repetition refers to one object or shape being repeated. Pattern is a combination of elements or shapes repeated in a reoccurring and regular arrangement. The pattern should be repeatable. Rhythm. Rhythm is a strong, regular, repeated pattern that forms a connection of colors or elements, which usually develops from organizing the space between objects. A sequential pattern is frequently accomplished with a variation of the size of a shape through its color, value, and/or texture. Variety. Variety is the combinations of different elements like shape, color, and line into one composition. One example would be the one below with the fire and trash. It has a lot of different varieties of shapes and sizes that your eye is drawn to, all the different little things rather than just one place. Variety can also be the different forms and textures of the painting that make us look around. Unity. Unity of a piece is accomplished by a feeling of wholeness and completion in the artist's piece. A piece that has unity may combine similar colors, shapes, lines, textures, and patterns to achieve this unity. Contrast. A contrast is a large difference between two things: hot and cold, green and red, light and shadow. Difference between art elements like color, value, size, texture, and so on can intensify the elements used. As a result, the elements used in a work of art can become more powerful. There needs to be contrast in value along with the contrast in color. Thank you for watching!